Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to build something pretty powerful, your very own AI teammate, one that can work for you 24/7. And we're going to explore why starting this right now isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. So let's kick things off with this really powerful prediction from AI leader Ali Miller. And look, she's not talking about some distant sci-fi future. What she's describing is a massive shift that's happening today, one that could literally create a permanent divide between those who lean into this tech and, well, everyone else. And we're not talking about a small little bump in efficiency here. This is a monumental leap in what one person can get done. I mean, depending on the task, people who are already doing this are seeing their output double or go up by 5 or even 10 times. It's wild. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into what this AI gap really means. Then we'll break down the huge shift from AI as just a simple assistant to a true teammate. After that, we get our hands dirty. We'll build your first agent, then give it a personalized brain. And finally, we'll look at what the long-term payoff really is. All right, let's really get into this. This idea of an irreversible gap, it's basically like compound interest for productivity. The people who start building with AI today are creating this snowball effect. See, it's not just about learning a new app. It's about building a system, an advantage that grows every single day, making it almost impossible for others to ever catch up. And this really gets to the core of the whole thing. The way we relate to AI is fundamentally changing. It's not just a tool we pick up and use anymore, it's becoming a partner that we actually collaborate with. This comparison just lays it out perfectly. The old way, the assistant model, was like a fancy search engine. You'd ask a question, it would give you a summary, but you still had to do all the work. The new way, with Agentic AI, is all about delegation. You give it a goal, and it goes off and handles the whole process for you. So the magic word here is acts. Agentic AI doesn't just find information, it does things with it. For example, instead of just finding you a recipe, it could go ahead and order the groceries and then schedule time on your calendar to actually cook. It's proactive, it takes initiative. And this is exactly why that whole intern analogy is just so wrong. We need a major mindset shift. You're not managing some junior helper, right? You're collaborating with a super-powered partner that can execute incredibly complex tasks, even while you're asleep. Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. How do you actually build one of these things? Well, the good news is you can start right now. And believe me, it's so much simpler than you probably think. And here it is, maybe the most important part of this whole explainer. That big barrier to entry you might be imagining, it just doesn't exist. You don't need to be a programmer. You don't need a technical background. You just need to be able to clearly explain what you want, just like you would to a person on your team. It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But honestly, this is the most effective way to start. The path to your very first automated workflow begins by just identifying something that frustrates you. You know, a boring, repetitive, or stressful task you have to do all the time. So here's the process. It's 3 simple steps. First, you just complain. You tell the AI about a problem. Then, the AI will ask you questions to really understand it. Through that back and forth conversation, you build a solution together. And then, you just save that process as a reusable skill. Think of these skills just like tools in a toolbox. Once you create a skill for, say, summarizing all your urgent emails every morning, you never have to explain how to do it ever again. You just tell the AI, hey, use that urgent email summary tool. Done. Now, building these individual skills is awesome, but to really, truly unlock your AI's potential as a teammate, you need to give it context. You need to give it a brain that actually understands you. And you do this with 3 key documents. Your personal constitution sets your core values, like family time is non-negotiable after 6 p.m. Your goals document lists out what you're trying to achieve, and your core strategy explains how you like to operate. These 3 things together give the AI the background it needs to think like you. And here's the best part. This isn't some giant project that's going to take you weeks. You can build this entire foundation in about an hour. It's so simple. You just have the AI interview you, ask you a bunch of questions, and it pulls all this information out and structures it for you. So let's say you do all this. What's the real reward? Why does taking these first few steps today matter so much for your tomorrow? Let's look at the future that you're actually building. It all comes back to that snowball effect. You start today, you build one small skill. In a month, you've automated an entire weekly process that you used to hate. In 6 months, this AI is a core part of your team. And in a year, you are firmly, without a doubt, on the productive side of that irreversible gap. But you know, the real prize here isn't just about getting more stuff done faster. It's about something much more important. It's about agency. When you delegate all the boring, repetitive stuff, you free up your time and your brain power to focus on what actually matters: your creativity, your strategy, and solving the problems you truly care about. So ultimately, this is not about adopting some new tool. It's about embracing a whole new way to operate, the power to build a more effective, more focused, and more creative version of yourself. It's right here, right now. The only question left is, what problem are you going to give it first?